Italy, how bad is it going to get?
Well, it's certainly a focus point for the market. I mean, ultimately, we think that the new Italian government is posturing for a better deal, but so we don't think that we're going to go down, you know, the so-called Armageddon path, etc. But this does kind of highlight the fragilities of the EU system that obviously still need to be kind of ironed out. So we think the bigger issue is that does it pose downside risk to the Italian economy, confidence, etc., and does that in turn delay ECB kind of policy actions? And that's something that can still, I think, weigh on the euro dollar. And we're already at a point where, as you kind of highlighted, the spread between US and bonds has obviously gotten quite wide. So we're thinking 112, 113 is some of the downside targets you can think about for euro dollar.
What do you think is going through Mario Draghi's mind right now as he looks at his home country? It's like, look, you know, they're just on the verge, just getting ready. Okay, could be Q4, etc., to start getting out of the easy money business, and this Italian stuff starts happening. I mean, bad timing.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly throws a bit of a spanner in the works. I mean, the ECB is not alone in terms of other global central banks that I think are trying to build some policy space ahead of the next downturn. And I think that that's a very important thing for the major central banks to kind of be thinking about, because you can't be going into the next downturn without any kind of policy space to be easing, because that could obviously have some adverse consequences for your economy. So my sense is they'll probably try to look through it, because it's very much probably a tail risk rather than a central scenario risk, but still something that can obviously be mindful of, that that can still impact the outlook for 2019.
You know, I love your comment about them negotiating down to the last minute. Of course, Mario Draghi got his famous nickname, Super Mario, when he was finance minister in an Italian government. The last minute guy, always just come in for the heavy lifting. If there's a knock-on from a problem with the Italian budget, who's exposed outside of Italy? Do we go look at banks in France? Where would you expect the knock-on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Certainly some of the exposure generally has been reduced over the past particularly since the Greece issue from, 5 or 6 years ago. So Let's
get this on the table. This is not going to turn out to be another Greece, is it?
No, it's many times bigger. I mean, multiples bigger.
It's certainly, from an economy-wide perspective and its exposure to the rest of the Eurozone and the Eurozone's exposure to Italy, it's obviously larger. So that's something that can obviously, but in terms of the seriousness of the situation, we don't think it's going to go down the path that Greece is. But the issue is, obviously, there's going to be other European banks' exposure there, but those exposure levels have generally been coming down over time. So it's not expected to be that kind of systemic risk that the Greece issue kind of posed.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.